Hello, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, today I have a bunch of junk on my desk, like real junk. Flyer and an Amazon packaging envelope thing. And I thought what I would do today, oh, and the other thing I have is some offcuts from die cuts. So what I thought I would do today is make a cover from an Amazon package using junk mail, because, you know, that would be fun. So the Amazon packaging I'm using, they're double-sided, but they're kind of like they're two layers and they have these little beads in between them. They're meant to do away with the bubble mailers, the plastic ones, and they make fabulous journal covers. You can pull them apart and get the equivalent of 2 covers out of 1 piece. So 2 for the price of 1. So what I thought I would do is just collage on here, which we all are very familiar with, but using junk mail or a flyer, which is completely random because it has pictures and doesn't look very pretty. But let's see what we can do with it. It's not going to fit on frame, it's too big, and I'm not going to be super precious about it because it's junk mail. This is newsprint, which is traditionally quite thin, and newsprint, I'll wind up, my hands will be black by the time I'm done, because that's how newsprint is. The other thing with newsprint is it does not tear straight no matter what you do. If you're going against the grain, you're going to get these funny little marks. If you're going with the grain, you can get a fairly decent tear on it. If you don't want these jagged lines, use a tear ruler. I am not going to worry about it because I'm just going to glue and stick, and then when I am done gluing and sticking, I'm going to cover it with gesso to tone it down, and then put the die cut offcuts on top of it to make it look like it's not a bunch of random newsprint stuck on an envelope. I also have one of these little tools to kind of flatten things. And I'm just going to glue, like, oh, I like that color. Cat food. Shouldn't say that too loud. I could try to do this that I save all the little numbers, but again, I'm not going to worry about that too much. What I just want to do is collage and cover the cover. I'm wondering if my glue stick is running out because it's really like wet, and normally it isn't. It's like, look at how, like, look at this. It's one of the reasons I don't like glue stick. Seems like teal is the color of the day on this. Okay, I think maybe I'm gonna... Does anybody need a lifter tool that's been tested? This will give a nice stable cover as well, with the extra paper on top of the Amazon packaging. Also, by the time you're done, even though it's newsprint, and newsprint is traditionally fairly thin, you shouldn't see the smile, unless you want to. And if you're worried about seeing too much of that, you can always put more on top. Numbers are always fun. A hand cart. Save 50%. I'm going to see if I can find a different glue, because this one is really sticky. let's add some gesso. I'm going to use my Liquitex this time. The gesso I used on those tags I did earlier in the week, I'd got that gesso at a thrift store and it seemed really thick. So I want to try this one and see if it's less thick. And just knock some of this color back. Let's try squirting that out and see what happens. I might, let's give that a bit of water so that, because I don't want it too white in all the places, if that makes sense. What I'm hoping is that like the numbers will show through, the color will show through, but not like you won't be able to tell that it was a flyer that I used when it's all said and done. I mean, you probably will be able to. Again, I've never done anything like this before, but, you know, junk. We're using junk to make a journal cover, so it's all playing. Just think of that when you're making things. It's all playing. There is no right or wrong. It's up to you what you want to do. And if you don't like it, cover it. Paint it, gesso it, add, I don't know, whatever. And I will say from experience, know when to stop. Because you can take things too far. You can be satisfied with how something looks and keep going and then wind up unsatisfied. So if you're like, oh, that looks good, that's the point to quit doing something instead of thinking to yourself, well, what if I add another blue or more paint or more gesso? You may wind up being quite unhappy with what you did in the end. So if you get to a point where you're like, oh, I really like that, that's usually a good indication of when to stop. And I'm speaking from experience because I do have a tendency to go overboard and not know when to stop. And I am almost at the point where I need to stop. Partly because I'm getting paint or gesso all over my desk and my mat, and I think that is looking fairly good. I want to get a little bit more over on the edges here, and then I promise I'll stop. I'll stop. Let's see if I can, oops, spray myself because, you know, why not? Now, I wonder... Yes, I think I will. I would like to now, I think, grunge that up a little bit. Or, no, I think I know. I think what I'm going to do is close the lid on that and hope my gesso doesn't dry out. So I have all these die cuts. And I saw Louisa Heinzel did this thing where she cut a bunch of her die cuts into like random bits and pieces and then made a masterboard out of them. And I thought that was such a fun thing to do. So let's see. This will get the green back in as well. Stay. Or go. One or the other. Stay or go. You saw that, right? That is what I paid for it. Okay, that's those. Ooh, that does not want to cut. This is the paper I used is, I think it's like a mulberry paper. So it's not, it's got like threads in it and it's really weird stuff. I don't know if I'll use this one because I think that color might not work. That pinkish with the, although there is red in the, this is more of that mulberry-ish type paper. For a while, Dollar Tree sold these off-cut paper packs. I may have bought quite a few of them when I saw them. I don't know that I'll use all these little bits. Come Well, that's one way to decide where to... Ah, there we go. And let's see if I can get a bit from this one because I like the color of it. And it should match what I was using for the other. Okay. Okay. Apparently you wind up with a whole bunch of little random bits, like fiddly bits. And bits that are hard to pick up. So if I make that into a journal cover, that's actually a bit tall. I may need to trim that down a little. Yeah. Okay, that's a bit of a fail. Okay. So I collaged way more than I needed to. Yeah, if I... ruler. You're not going to see what I'm doing because I think it's below, but I'm going to take about an inch off the bottom. My ruler is almost not long enough. Try to do this without cutting my fingers off. Okay, I think that will be better. That's a little bit more usable height-wise. That makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.5-ish inches high, which is fairly tall, but it also opens up to the inside a little bit, so I'll probably, I don't know if you can see, but it opens up to those little white bits, so probably this is like stage 1 of doing this, so the next stage after putting these little die cut bits on is I'll sew around all the edges. And I'll probably put fabric on the inside and then do some more. One of the reasons that I wanted to do that so that it's the right height is to try to get an idea of where like the front would be, so that as I put things on, they kind of look good. If you're wondering what I'm doing, there seems to be like a stray little piece of paper there. I'm gonna get my Bearly Arts, because there's little fine bits from the die cut that I think if I use my Bearly Arts, it will adhere a little bit better. So to me, this is junk as well, because normally you would throw these things, the background things from the die cuts, away. Or I would. I don't usually keep them. I've seen both Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel use these background bits to grate. Like, they get some really amazing things. But I cut 5 or 6 die cuts at the same time, so it doesn't ever look like an individual little piece of die cut. It's multiple bits, so like 5 or 6 little flowers, or might use these little number ones. I also have, I didn't cut these. I think I'm going to cut that 5 and that 2 apart. And then use one of those. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. Very much like that. Yes, it says Staples, because that was like a piece of photo paper that I did stuff on. Might move that in just a smidgen. Oh, sorry about that noise. I think it would also be really, really fun to sew around some of these little, like, almost like clustery bits. If you're doing something like this, I'm saying this to myself, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. Although, like, I really like that, but you can't see it. So it would be really cool to have something behind it. Like maybe put it against, like, something where there's some, like, actual darkness for it to sort of shine. I think I had decided to put that there or there. Should also probably determine how big a spine I want on this thing as well. So I might do that next. I would say this is definitely not finished. Whenever I look at these little arms from this flower, it amazes me that this Sizzix die even cuts out. It's so delicate. Although sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just does not cut out at all. Just makes a big mess. I want these to have, okay, I'm going to cut that in half-ish. Again, sorry. Huh, no, I don't like it. I will like that, though. Yes. Oh, yes. I wonder, do I have... Be kind of cool to make it look like that kind of goes around but that one didn't work. Oh, but that one works. Sorry for the lack of talking. That happens every time when I'm thinking. It's like I don't know where I'm going, so I don't talk. I'm too busy, like, trying to process what I want things to look like. I really want to use this one, but it just does not quite work. It's too pale. So that's, yeah, I could get that on there. And then I think I'm going to stop. Even though, like, this is definitely not a finished cover, but it will give you an idea of something that you could do if you've got an Amazon package and random junk mail flyer. Still really want to use that one. I could definitely layer that, though. Or you could tell yourself that you can quit. You don't have to keep going, Linda. And she keeps going. You don't have to keep going, and she keeps going. Oh, that was what I was looking for. But I don't think I'll put that there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for now, because I want to determine how big I want the spine. I want to sew fabric in it, and I may do some stitching around the outside. But if you have Amazon packaging, a bit of, you know, this kind of thing, have a play and see what you can come up with. There is no right or wrong. These are your journals. It's all how you make it look in the end. And until next time, have a lovely crafty evening. Bye.